to understand the problem. Kahit na sa love life nyo eh. Di ba? Away kayo ng boyfriend, girlfriend nyo, di ba? Paano mo solve? You have to understand the problem. The root of the problem actually. You have to understand ano yung problem. So there's a situation. Then alamin mo, ano yung isosolve, ano yung kailangan mong isolve. So you have to understand it properly. So the same goes for programming. Ganon din siya. Bago ka magpo-program, alamin mo muna kung ano yung problem. Ano yung kailangan mong i-program. So dun sa mga previous na machine problems ninyo, if you notice, for you to be able to for you to be able to do those tasks, kailangan intindihin nyo, di ba? So, sa mga susunod na mga machine problems ninyo, paano yan eh? Pataas ng pataas yung level. So, say for example, I think I posted already two of the additional machine problems which are due next week na manggagaling from our discussion today. So, you have to listen and para magawa nyo yung mga yon. Okay, so again, let's go back to how do you actually write a program, which is the same as solving your mathematics problem. First thing you do is you understand the problem. Kapag naintindihan mo na yung problem, that's the time that you plan the solution. Kapag alam mo na, pag may plano ka na, that's the time that you execute that solution. And then the last part is you test that solution. Okay, sa math nyo, you check. Tama? So, nag-a-apply pa rin dito yung steps na tinuro sa MMW nyo. That is how to solve a problem. You understand it first, and then you plan the solution, you execute the solution, and then you test. Actually, in real life, yung testing ng program na ginawa, it takes like a lot of time. So, isusulat nila yung, parang yung coding, ano lang siya, fraction lang siya nung time ng entire procedure. So, what takes time pag nag-program ka? It takes time to understand the problem. It takes time to design the solution for that problem. And then you code. Coding is small fraction of time. And then you test. The design and the test part, yun yung nagtatake ng time pagdating sa programming. Okay? But for now, what I want you to do, bago kayo mag-dive in sa coding, intindihin nyo muna kung ano yung hinihingi. Pag hindi nyo naiintindihan, disaster yung kalalabasan ng program. Okay? So meron tayong you might have heard of the word algorithm. Facebook algorithm, ganyan. You might have heard of it. So anong ibig sabihin ng algorithm? Okay, kahit sa math ninyo, maririnig niyo yan lagi. Ano yung algorithm mo? Sabihin sa'yo, tatanungin ka. Okay? Lalo na sa higher math ninyo, tatanungin ka, oh, what's the algorithm? Pag sinabing algorithm, it's just a solution to any computing problem. Okay? It's a solution to any computing problem, and it involves executing a series of actions in a specific order. So, tandaan nyo na yung tandaan nyo na yung definition niya. That algorithm, it's a solution siya, okay, to any computing problem which involves executing a series of actions in a specific order. So parang may solution, yung solution mo, ano siya, may specific order siya, which it applies to math, right? So meron kang specific order na sinusundan. It's also, ito yung mga different definitions niya, no? It's a procedure for solving a problem in terms of the actions to be executed and the order in which these actions are to be executed. Siguro mas madaling tandaan that the algorithm is a solution. Solution siya to any computing problem. Tapos in order yung solution mo. Okay? Correctly specifying the order in which the actions are to be executed is important. So ganyan kasi pag nagpo-program. Okay? Bawat lines ng program mo, and how you order them is important. So, hindi pwedeng mauna yung magsa-scan F ka, tapos hindi mo naman pala na-define kung ano yung variable na scan mo. So, mag-e-error yun. Okay? So, dapat merong proper order. So, example of this is, say, how do you rise and shine? Ano yung mga steps na gagawin mo? Say, for example, when you go to work or when you go to school. In order, ano yung gagawin mo? Siyempre, you get out of the bed, you take off your pajamas, you take a shower, you get dressed, you eat your breakfast, and then you carpool to work. Or you ride your motors to school, ganyan, or to work. And on the right side is example of out of order. Okay. Get out of bed, take off pajamas. After you take off pajamas, you get dressed, and then you take a shower. So obviously, there is something wrong dun sa algorithm niya. Okay? Specifying in order in which statements are to be executed in a computer program is called program control. Okay? Paano yung order ng mga statements mo? Paano sila ma-execute? Is called your program control. But at this point, siguro mas importante na maintindihan ninyo or matandaan ninyo ano yung definition ng algorithm. It's a solution to a computing problem. Ulit-ulitin nyo sa mind nyo, algorithm. Solution to a computing problem. So last time we have discussed your how do you actually create a flowchart. Tapos kung ano yung mga different symbols. So yung graphical representation ng algorithm, yung solution nyo is actually your flowchart. So nakita nyo yung connect. You have your flowchart. Okay, then you have your baligtad siya. You have your algorithm. And then yung algorithm nyo, pwede nyo siyang gawa ng flowchart. Or it depends on you kung alin yung gusto nyo unahin. Okay, but I think when you're solving a problem, it's best kung yan mo muna siya. Plan mo muna yung solution mo. Ano yung plano mong solution? And then you can create your flowchart. So, sabi nga natin last time, there are special purpose symbols when you're creating your flowchart. Meron tayong tinatawag na rectangles, which is for calculation. So, halimbawa, magmumultiply ka, mag-add ka, you put them in a rectangle. And then you have your diamonds, which is for decision making. Pag may condition and then you have to make a decision, then you use your diamonds. And then you have your rounded rectangles, which is for your terminals, for start and end of your program. Then you have your small circles to connect. Pag naputol yung flowchart mo, you want to connect it. You use your small circles. And may kulang dito yung your parallelogram, which is for your input and output operations. So symbols are connected by arrows. So the arrow that you see going down, they are called your flow lines. Flow lines and tawag dyan. The rectangle symbol or action symbol indicate any type of action, including a calculation. So yung input and output operation ninyo, hiniwalay natin yan. So to specifically define if you're going to make a calculation or just basically an input-output, rectangle pa rin naman yung parallelogram nyo. Kaya lang, ano lang siya, pa-side. So the flow lines indicate the order in which the actions are performed. So kung saan papunta yung arrow mo, doon papunta yung execution ng program mo. Yung pagkakasunod-sunod. Now, let's go to your pseudocode. Meron din tayong tinatawag na pseudocode. Ano naman yung pseudocode? So, if the algorithm is the solution to your problem, and then yung graphical representation ng algorithm mo is your flowchart, ano naman yung pseudocode? So, yung pseudocode, it's an artificial or informal, user-friendly, convenient English-like code. They are not executed on computers and they can be easily converted into any programming language. It consists of actions and decision statements. So in short, yung pseudocode mo, it's written in English. Para kang nagpo-program, pero it's written in English. Okay? Parang example dito, set total to 0. Yan yung variable definitions mo. Set grade counter to 0. Tapos, while grade counter is less than or equal to 10, meron kang gustong gawin. Okay, pagkatapos nun, anong ginawa? Set the class average to the total divided by 10. And then the last is print the class average. So in short, yung pseudocode mo, para kang nagpo-program. Pero you're not using your C language, C Sharp, or Java. You're using your English language. So parang ano lang, nilagay mo siya in phrases form, yung program mo. Now, if you remember, nung nag-flowchart tayo, meron tayong mga inaral. Meron tayong mga tinawag na sequential execution. Meron tayong tinatawag na selection. Meron tayong tinatawag na repetition, if you remember. Okay? So, yung sequential execution, sabi natin last time, these are statements that are executed one after another. Sunod-sunod, sequential. Yung isa naman, you have to make a selection. That means there is a transfer of control. Yung another term for that. You have to select. That means magkakaroon ka ng either this or that. Ita-transfer mo yung control from this point, either this, dun sa yes, or dun sa no. Okay? Sabi niya dito, some C statements can specify that the next statement to be executed may not be the next statement. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Para kang may nagsiselect. Either this or yung dito. That means, di ba yung diamond ninyo? If you remember your diamond, pag na-satisfy yung condition doon, then you'll do the yes. Punta ka doon sa yes. Pag hindi na-satisfy yung condition doon, you go to the no part ng flowchart mo. Okay? So, ano-ano yung mga selection statements natin for you to be able to have transfer of control? Meron tayong tinatawag na, yung sequential, remember, tuloy-tuloy yun eh. Doon sa selection, na structure, magse-select ka. So, ngayon, i-connect na natin. Ano yung mga C? Ano yung mga C, how do you call this? Ano yung syntax sa C na gagamitin mo to do your selection statement? Na-introduce na rin naman yan last time. Ulitin lang natin ngayon at i-discuss natin in detail. Na mas detailed. So, you have your if statement. Okay? So, what does the if statement does? So, if it performs a set of actions if the condition is true. Otherwise, skip. If. Okay, if. Ngayon, pwedeng madagdagan yan. If else. Okay? Yung if else naman, it performs a set of action if condition is true. Otherwise, it performs a different set of actions. So, para mas maintindihan nyo yan, I'm gonna share your whiteboard. So, if you have questions, class, you can raise your hand. Okay, wait lang. So, let's differentiate kung anong pinagkaiba ng if sa if-else. If. And then you have your condition. Alright, class. Ano yung, let me see if you remember what I've been telling you. Pagdating dito sa condition na to, ano siya dapat? Ano dapat yung condition na yan? It should be answerable by two kay, dalawa lang yung pwedeng isagot diyan. You remember? Your condition there should be answerable by what? So, this condition, what I want you to remember here onwards, okay, yung condition na yan, Boolean yun yung sagot dyan. It should be answerable by a yes or no. So, if you remember from our previous discussion, yung condition na yan, ang ginagamit dyan is your relational operators or your equality operators lang. Okay? So, the final answer here should be either true or false lang. Okay? Kailangan nyo tandaan yun, ha? Pag gumawa kayo ng condition, it should be answerable by a true or false. Kung hindi niya kayang sagutin, kung yung condition nyo, hindi siya magre-result sa either true or false, wag na lang. Huwag nyo lang gagawin condition kasi mag-error yung program ninyo. So again, this should be answerable. Yung condition na ilalagay nyo dyan should be answerable by true or false. And if this condition is true, may execute yung program na yan or yung body ng program na to or yung block of code na to. Okay, whatever you put here, if this condition is true, papasok yung control ng program mo dito. Papasok yung pag-execute dyan. Papasok. Yung flow ng program mo, papasok dyan. So what happens if this condition is not true? So kung yung condition na yan, tandaan nyo class ay tatanong ko yun sa exam. Kung yung condition na yan ay hindi true, it applies for every programming language. Okay? It applies for every programming language, hindi lang sa C. If this condition is not true, then lalagpasan niya yan, yung nasa curly bracket niya na yan, lalagpasan niya yan. So your program will continue if false. Kung false siya, lagay ko lang dito, no? Kung false, lalagpasan niya yan. Dediretso siya dito. Right after the curly bracket. Okay? Yun yung kailangan tandaan. If true, papasok siya dito sa body of code na to, sa block of code na to. If it's not true, lalagpasan niya yan. Yung curly bracket na yan, whatever is there, lalagpasan niya yan. Next, pupunta na siya right after this. Whatever is here, okay, if false, the program control will go directly here sa line na to. Pero again, kung true yan, papasok muna siya dito, tapos saka siya pupunta dito. Ilang kaibahan nun. Okay, ano naman yung if-else? For the if-else, this is how you do it. If, and then you have your condition here, and then you have your body of code here, and then you have your else dito. Okay? So, paano naman nag-work yan? So, dito nadagdagan lang siya. Okay? So, this body of, if the condition is true, syempre papasok siya dito, diba? Executed if the condition is true. You can take screenshots of this discussion class. It will help you a lot. It will remind you pag magpa-program kayo. So, for the if-else, if the condition is true, papasok siya dito. Executed if the condition is true. Ngayon, if false yung condition mo, okay, dito naman siya papasok. Lalagpasan niya yung una. Kung false yung condition mo, yung else yung ma-execute. So, executed if the condition is false. Okay? Nakita niyo yung difference, class? Doon sa first, if the condition is true, execute niya to, and then, wala na siya, tawag dito, didiretso na siya. Okay. Dito sa pangalawa, may pangsalo ka sa false. If condition is true, papasok siya doon sa first block. Else, doon siya sa second block pupunta. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Let me screenshot that for you. Mamaya. So I hope that's clear. So let's go back to our lecture. Clear yan, class? Kung anong difference ng if tsaka ng if-else? Now, there is another ano yung yes or no? What do you mean by yes or no, Jean? Yung yes, it represents true. Yung no, it represents false. Pareho lang yan. Pareho lang yan, no? Now, let's go back. So, I hope clear na yung if tsaka yung if-else. Okay? Then now, let's discuss your switch statement. Ang pinagkaiba naman ng switch statement, it performs one of many different set of actions. Ito, maraming actions, pipili ka lang. Or pipili lang yung program mo, alin dun sa set of actions yung gagawin niya. Sa if-else kasi, may particular condition ka na titingnan. Sa switch, meron ka rin titingnan, but it's not a very long condition. It's called a controlling expression. Okay. Pero mamaya, we'll discuss to you in detail kung ano yung switch. Kasi meron kayong assignment din na switch yung gagamitin nyo. So let's take a look at an example of flowchart. So this is an example of a selection statement. Okay? So yung if mo kanina, paano mo i-represent yung if mo kanina? So yung if mo kanina, this is how you represent it. It's a single selection. Yung parang if the condition is true, meron siyang gagawin. Otherwise, didiretso lang. Didiretso lang yung program mo. So yung if, ito yung flowchart niya, yung if lang. Yung if else, yung pangalawa yung flowchart niya. Okay, if the condition is true, meron siyang gagawin. If the condition is false, meron siyang gagawin. Hindi lang siya basta didiretso, okay? So this is called a double selection, which is represented by your if-else. Halimbawa, example of pseudocode for your example natin dito na flowchart. So ano yung pseudocode niyan? Ganito yung itsura ng pseudocode. If student's grade is greater than or equal to 60, print pass. If student's grade is greater than or equal to 60, print pass. Else, print fail. So this is an example of pseudocode. Para ka nang nagpo-program pero English yung gamit mo. And then, ano yung actual code for this pseudocode? Pag sinabi natin pseudocode, parang code na siya, pero hindi siya yung totoong code. Okay, English yung gamit mong language. Kaya tinawag siyang pseudocode. So now, this is the code for that pseudocode. So kung i-code mo yon, ganito siya. If grade is greater than or equal to 60, print pass. So yun yung actual code for that. Dun sa double selection naman, gamit ang if-else, this is the actual code. If grade, example to if grade is greater than or equal to 60, print pass, else print fail. Ito na yung mga actual code mo sa C. Okay? Any questions so far, class?
None po, ma'am.
Nagigets naman? Nagigets
Opo.
nyo? Okay, good. Alam nyo, class, pag naiintindihan nyo yung if na yan, at maging programmer kayo in the future, it's a big help. It's a big help. Kasi ganyan lang. Alas ganyan lang naman ang ilalagay nyo sa program. Mga if, loops. Yung loops, hindi pa natin na-discuss. I will discuss that soon. Kasi ako, nung ako yung bata, tabatano ako yung student, nung tinuturo sa amin yung programming, hindi naman sinuro sa amin na yung condition pala, dapat siya, proposition siya na it should be either true or false lang. Kung ano-ano yung nilalagay ko dyan sa condition na yan. As minsan na nag-error na yung program ko, hindi ko alam yung condition ko pala, yung mali. Okay? You should always see to it na yung condition nyo is answerable by true or false. At meron ka lang gagamitin dyan ng mga relational and equality operators lang ang pwede dyan sa loob niyan. Okay? So this is an example of a program where you swap the values of two variables. You know, it would help if you can remember this part, kung paano nagsuswap ng dalawang variables. Kasi marami siyang applications. How do you swap? How do you swap the values of two variables? Okay. So halimbawa, if x is greater than y, okay, if x is greater than y, gusto mong pagpalitin sila ng values. Yun yung ginagawa niya. If x is greater than y, gusto mong ipalit yung values nila. So how will you do that? How are you going to do that? So to do that, you need another third variable. So remember, when you're swapping the values of two variables, you need yung pangatlong variable. You need additional variable to do swapping. So maybe in the future, you'll have to do some swapping. Remember, sabi ni Ma'am Lenny, according to our lecture, if you're going to do swapping, you need to have another variable. Mag-add ka ng isang variable. So dito, sabi niya, if x is greater than y, gusto niya mag-swap. Okay. So what you need to do, nag-add ka ng temporary variable. Ang pangalan ng temporary variable mo is temp. So store the value of x there. Okay. So nasa na yung value ni x? Nakay temp na. Okay. So free na yung variable x. So yung, kumbaga yung laman ni x, ni-store mo na kay temp. So parang may duplicate na si x na kay temp na. Okay? So si x ngayon, pwede mo siyang gamitin kasi may duplicate value na siya kay temp eh. So si x, ngayon si y, nilagay mo kay x. So nung nilagay mo yung value ng y kay x, so nasa na yung value ni y? Na kay x na. Okay, so yung y, free na siya. Okay, free na yung address ni y. Okay, ngayon, dahil free na yung address ni y, si y, yung temporary variable, yung value ni x na kay temp, ilagay mo kay y. So, na-swap na sila, di ba? Na-swap mo na yung values. So, you might need to, pwede nyong, yan, para maintindihan nyo yan, gawan nyo siya ng diagram. Mathematical diagram, para maintindihan nyo yan. Pero, what I'm showing you now is an example of a program that can swap the values of two variables. Okay. Now, I'm going to introduce you to another conditional operator. Okay. We call this your ternary operator. Bakit ternary operator? Because it's operating on 3. Okay. This is called your ternary operator. Bakit ternary? Again, it takes 3 operands. Meron siyang 3 operands. Yan. Okay? So, digest niyo muna. Inom lang ako ng water. By the way, how are you, class? Okay lang kayo lahat? Knowing during this time, sobrang daming nilalagnat. Sa panahon din siguro, syempre, samahan pa ng pandemic. Okay, let's continue. So, ternary operator, meron kaya siya tinawag na ternary, may 3 parts. First part, second part, third part. Okay? And this ternary operator, ginagamit yan sa lahat ng major, almost. Na meron yan sa, I think, meron siya sa JavaScript, if I'm not mistaken. Meron din yan sa PHP. Meron din yan sa Java. Meron din yan sa C#. Okay? Almost na mga major programming language meron siya. You can use it. So how does it work actually? How does a ternary operator works? O di ba, bongga kayo pag natandaan niyo yan in the future, pag programmer na kayo. Okay. Alam ko yung ternary operator. Things like that. Sa mga languages kasi, pare-pareho lang naman yan. Nag-iiba-iba lang ng syntax. Okay. So say for example, you're a C programmer. Gusto mo maging Java programmer, pwede naman. Ang kaibahan lang is yung Java, yung C#, object-oriented yon. They're dealing with objects. Okay. So anyway, forget about the object-oriented. Balik tayo sa ternary. At ternary, operating on 3 operands, 3 parts. So the first operand is yung condition. Okay? The first part is the condition. So say for example dito sa printf. So ipiprint niya, titingnan niyo yung first part niya, yung condition niya is grade is greater than or equal to 60. Parang if grade, ang basa dyan is, if grade is greater than or equal to 60, anong gagawin niya? Okay. The second operation is the value for the entire conditional expression if the condition is true. The third operand is the value for the entire conditional expression if the condition is false. Okay? So dito, again, the first part is the condition. Ilalagay mo yung condition. Remember yung sa if nyo kanina? Yung sa if. Okay. Doon sa if, may condition ka. Okay. Ito yon. This first part. That's the condition. And then if, kung at after ng condition, remember niyo yung question mark. Okay, kailangan may question mark. To mark the end of your condition. Okay? You have your condition and to mark the end, you have to put your question mark. And then kung true yung condition mo, this is what will be executed. Okay? And then what separates the second operand to the third operand? You have your colon. You have your colon here. Sorry. Ayaw niya. But anyway, after yung second operand, to mark the end of the second operand, meron kang colon. And then yung pangatlo, it will be executed if the condition is false. Yan. Okay, class? I hope that's clear. There you go. So that brings us to your machine problem for this session. Meron pang isa. So what do you need to do? Tatlo yung gagawin nyo dito. Okay? You develop an algorithm to find a number if a number is odd or even. Okay? Gagawa ka ng algorithm. That means mathematical solution siya. Pag sinabi mong algorithm, mathematical solution siya to find if a number is odd or even. Ano yung solution mo? So pag meron ka nang nagawa mo na yung mathematical solution mo, kung paano mo malalaman if odd or even yung number, you write the pseudocode. 3 part yung assignment nyo ngayon, no? you write a pseudocode to check if a number is odd or even. That means, para ka nang nagpo-program. Pa-program na siya. Pero English. And then the last part, yung pangatlong part, write a C code that takes an integer. So, mag-i-input si user ng integer. That takes an integer as an input from the user and prints out whether it is odd or even number. Ipiprint niya. So, yung program mo, ipiprint niya sa screen. Sasabihin niya kung odd or even number yung in-input. Okay? Clear yon, class?
Opo.
Clear yung instructions natin. Sige. Let's continue. Ngayon, meron tayong tinatawag na nested if-else. Okay? Nested if-else. So that means, sa nested if-else, dito, if grade is greater than or puts A. Else if. That means, ginagamit mo yung nested if-else kung marami kang condition na gusto i-check. Okay? You will use your nested if-else kung marami kang condition na gusto i-check. So, pansinin niyo dito, if grade is greater than or equal to 90 else, tas meron kang if dun. Tapos else, tas meron ka na namang if, else, if. But actually, as a programmer, I don't recommend this. Pwede sigurong hanggang 2, pero yung sobrang daming ganyan, baka malito lang kayo. Okay? This is, ito yung nested if and else. So, mas okay siguro kung ganito yung gamitin nyo. If grade is greater than or equal to 90, parang isi-structure nyo lang siya ng ganito. Else if. Another check, another condition. So, kung na-satisfy yan, gagawin niya itong puts B. By the way, yung puts class, it's a syntax in C. That's the same as your print. Pero again, hindi ginagamit masyado. Okay. You have an option to use these puts or you can use the printf. Okay. So, kailan ginagamit yung if-else if statement? Kung marami kang condition gustong check. Pwede yan. Now, meron tayong tinatawag na compound statement. Okay? Simple lang naman yung compound statement. Ano ba yung sinasabi ng compound statement mo? Actually, the if selection statement expects only one statement in its body. To include several statements in the body of an if, the set of statements are included in braces, your curly braces. So, anong ibig sabihin yan? To explain that, let me okay na to, class. I-clear ko na to, no? So, anong ibig sabihin ng compound statement? By the way, from your MMW, pag sinabi mong compound statement, maraming statements, di ba? Yun. So, ngayon kasi, sa totoong buhay, yung if mo, tas meron kang condition, okay. Kung one-liner lang naman yung gusto mong kung one-liner lang yung gusto mong i-print, you can do it here. Pwede mong sabihin. Execute this line. Yan. Lagyan ko ng ganyan. Kung one-liner lang naman, pwede na yan. Ngayon, sinasabi niya dun sa lecture natin is, if, tapos, meron kang condition, tapos, yung gusto mong gawin, marami. So, you need to make sure that you have your curly brackets or curly braces, your braces here. Okay? Yun sinasabi niya, multiple yung gusto mong gawin. Execute line 1, execute. Line 2. Yun yung ibig niyang sabihin. Okay? Kapag nag-if ka, or kahit yung dun sa else, okay, kapag nag-if ka or if-else ka, kung maraming lines yung gusto mo, you have to make sure that you have this. Okay? Pero kung if, tas one-liner lang, no need. Okay, no need to put that. Pero if you will ask me, so which is the best practice? Best practice is always, I would suggest kahit one-liner lang siya, ilagay nyo na rin to. Ito ay para sa mga bihasang programmer lang. Okay? Kung ikaw ay beginner, always put this. Kasi mali mo gusto mong mag-add ng line na execute. Tinaka-ready na siya. So I suggest you always use this. Bakit ba ginagawa to ng mga programmer? To save space. Save, para makapag-save sila ng memory sa computer. Kasi every single character na ina-add nyo sa program ninyo, nagta-take up yan ng space. So imagine if you have thousands of codes, lines of codes. Yung bawat yung curly braces na yan is it takes up space, di ba? Thousands, hundreds of thousands of lines of codes, which is possible actually. For big systems, it involves thousands of lines of codes. So sila, nagsisave sila ng space. So that's why, minsan, one-liner lang, di na nila nilalagyan. Pero for a beginner, I suggest, kapag nag-if kayo, lagyan nyo na ng curly braces para safe. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng kapag compound statements, that means marami, put the curly braces. Yan lang yan. Okay? Is that clear, class? Clear yon kung anong ibig sabihin. So tingnan nyo dito. If grade is greater than or equal to 60, puts pass. Else, okay, gusto niya ng maraming lines of codes after ng else, then naglagay siya ng curly braces. I hope that's clear. Ngayon, na-discuss ko na rin naman ito last time. Ito yung precedence ulit ng mga codes sa C. Okay? First is your parenthesis. Okay, yun yung unang gagawin. And then followed by your multiplication, division, and then your modulo. Then followed by your relational operators, which is yung less than or equal, greater than or equal, followed by your equality operators, followed by your Boolean operations, which is ito yung the double ampersand represents your and, yung double vertical line represents your or, and then the equal sign is actually your assignment operator. Okay? So, i-memorize nyo na yan. Halimbawa dito. Sa Japanese yung anak ko. Gambare daw. Nagagawa ng games sa mga bata. Gambare. You know what's gambare means, Nak? Gambare means, there's another word for gambare. It means gambate, which it's a Japanese word, and it means do your best, good luck, something like that. It's not a name. Gambare daw. Oh well. May commercial tayo. No, that means it can be a name, but in Japanese it means good luck, do your best, something like that. Okay. Okay. Silent ka na, may klase ako. Okay, let's go back to your excitement. To your example. Okay, so say for example, you have this expression here. So how does your computer executes this? Kung nasa program niya yan, paano yan may execute? So always, okay, your program will be executed left to right. This is just how you read, okay? So you have two parentheses, the one on the left and the one on the right. So what happens? So what will happen is the first parenthesis will be executed first because execution starts from the left going to the right. So the first parenthesis will be executed first. So inside the parentheses, you have an addition, and then you have the relational operator less than. So between the addition and the less than sign, mauuna yung addition. Pansin niyo dito? Mauuna yung addition. So gagawin muna ng computer yung addition. Z plus X. Your Z has a value of 2 and your X has a value of 3. On top, pansin niyo dito. X is 3, Y is 4, and Z is 2. So here, Z has a value of 2 and X has a value of 3. Z plus X, so that's 3 plus 2, it's equal to 5. So 5 na. And then, after that, what will happen is, after the addition, you have your relational operation less than. So 5, ang mangyayari dyan is 5 less than 1. It's not less than, right? So, magre-result siya sa 0. Okay, which means 0 is false. Now, pagdating niya dito, there's this line here, the or, and there's another parenthesis. So obviously, hindi niya muna gagawin yan, yung or na yan, di ba? Gagawin niya muna yung parenthesis. So, kasi, pansin niyo dito, nandun sa last part yan, no? So, almost last siyang gagawin. So, parenthesis, and then inside the parenthesis, you have plus and minus. And then you have the relational greater than or equal. So you know that between this, it's not between among these three, ang una niyang gagawin is either yung plus or minus. Okay? Pero yung plus or minus, magka-level yan. So it will start from left. Okay? So y plus z, y is 4, z is 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So after that, gagawin niya yung subtraction. X minus z. X is 3, z is 2. So magre-result yan sa 3 minus 2 is 1. So okay na. Tapos na yung plus and minus. Gagawin niyang next yung relational operator mo na greater than or equal. So 6 greater than or equal to 1, it results to yes, represented by 1, which also means true. So yung true, yung 1, yung yes, pare-pareho lang yan. Okay. Pare-pareho lang ibig sabihin nun. So, I would say, bakit 1 yung sagot? Meron bang nakakaalam? Bakit 1 yung final answer? Bakit 1 yung final answer natin, class? Why? Anybody from the class? Bakit 1 yung final answer natin? Ano ba yung operator na ginamit natin? Tweety. Tweety Kura. Why do you think 1 yung final answer? There's 0 and there's 1 there. Bakit 1 yung final answer? Because any volunteer? Yes, Joe Marical.
Kasi po sa Boolean logic, pag false and true na po yung statement.
Ano yung ano natin, Nak? Ano yung operator natin? What's
Yung
our
or.
operator? Ano yun? Sorry?
Or.
Or, tama. Okay? So remember, ang sabi natin, yung double vertical sign, that's your or. And yung double ampersand, that's your and. Okay? So dito, ang nangyari, 0, naka-or kay 1. And you know, sa Boolean logic, tulad nga ng sabi ni Jo Mare. How do I pronounce your name? Jo Mare?
Gamer.
Jomer. Tama. Jomer, yun? Ganon.
Aba.
Okay, Jomer. Sabi ni Jomer, na-remember niya from the Boolean logic, kapag ang operator mo is or, meron kang false, which is your 0, meron kang true, which is your 1. Pag pinagsama mo yun, kasi meron ng isang true, di ba? So, it will result to your final answer, which is true. Okay? Kasi yun Yun yung rules sa Boolean operations. Kapag or yung gamit mo. Pag may isang true, true na lahat yan. Sa pag and naman, magtutrue lang siya kapag meron kang dalawang true. So, tandaan nyo yung ano nyo, class. That's the reason why we reviewed your Boolean operations or yung operators nyo, ni-review natin. Kasi nga, gagamitin nyo siya dun sa conditional statements. And in general, kapag programmer ka, dapat you know by heart kung how do your Boolean operators work. So let me just sabi niya dito, x is greater than or equal sa minimum. Okay. And less than or less than equal sa max. But anyway, hindi niyo pa ito maiintindihan. Let me leave that there. So, this is an example. The last part is, hindi pa tayo tapos na. First, ano pa lang to? First set. Yung kaya 1.5 yung hiningi ko sa inyo. No? There's another. Pero mabilis na lang. So, this is an example of a logical expression. Okay. So, x is greater than or equal to z and y is x is greater than z, naka-and sa y is greater than z. Okay? So, paano nakuha yung evaluation na yan? Saan nanggaling yan? Well, nanggaling yan sa value. Naka-specify na kasi yung value ng x, y, z dito. So, x is 3, y is 4, and z is 2. 3, 4, 2. X is 3. Z is 2. So, titingnan natin yan. Sige. Sulat natin. X is greater than Z. Naka-ampersand. Gawin natin yung isa, no? So, Y is greater than Z. So, sabi niya dito, pag in-evaluate mo yan, you have 1, naka-and sa 1, so true siya. So, ano ba yung value ng X? X is, what's the value of X? Remember nyo ano yung value ng X? X is 3. Y is
4.
4. Sure? 3, 4, 2. O 3, 2, 4. Z is
2.
2. Okay. Granted na yan yung tamang values. So, X is 3. So, parang hindi siya. Tingnan natin. Tingnan natin ano yung actual values. X is 3, Y is 4. Tama. X is 3, Y is 4. Z is 2. 3, 4, 2. Ito na pala, sorry. Ito pala yung given niya. X and Y are greater than Z. Sorry. Ba't ko nilagyan ng values? But anyway, so say for example, ito na muna yung given natin. Huwag niyo muna papansin yung evaluation doon. Okay, tingnan natin kung ano yung magiging output. So, X is 3, Y is 4, Z is 2. Ano yung magiging final answer natin? So kung isa-substitute mo yan, 3 ay greater than 2. Hindi naman yata. And Y is 4 greater than 2. So, ano yung sagot natin sa left expression dito? What's our answer here?
True.
It's true, which is 3 is greater than 1, right? True is represented by 1. Sa C, i-represent niya yung true as 1. Yung 0, i-represent niya. Yung false, i-represent niya 0. Sa C, no? Sa C na syntax. So, this is 1. And then, naka-ampersand ka. Remember, last mong gagawin yan. 4 greater than 2. What's the answer? True or false?
True.
True. Okay. So yung 1, naka-and sa 1. What's our answer?
True.
True. Kasi pag and, di ba? Pag dalawang true. Remember, yung 1 mo is true sa C. Yung 0 mo is false. Actually, yeah. Basta may value ka sa C, true na yun actually. 0, yun yung naging false. So yun, ito yung nangyari dito, in-evaluate niya. Ito yung given mo. Yung given mo, in-evaluate niya itong mga to. So if you wanna check if these are correct, you can substitute. Pwede kayo mag-substitute. So ganyan ginagawa yung logical expression nyo. Okay? Yan yung mga ginagamit. Yun, that's for lecture 4. And then if you don't have any questions, we'll proceed to first part of lecture 5. First part lang naman kasi kailangan nyo yung switch for your assignment. Any questions, class, before we proceed? Wala?
Wala po.
Okay. So let me proceed to lecture 5. Ay, hindi pa pala naka-open. Open ko muna. Di ba mas masaya mag-class ng morning? Ano siya? Hindi masyadong napuputol din minsan. Pero mas madalang. Lecture 5. All right. This is lecture 5 and I will discuss to you yung continuation. Anong one ways on paano nagkakaroon ng transfer of program control. Okay? So this is called your switch statement. So kailan ginagamit yung switch statement? Okay, parang sa if pwede namang i-represent 'yan sa if eh. Pero may mga instances na it's better to use your switch statement. So yung switch statement mo, it is used to select one of several alternatives. One. So marami kang pagpipilian. Dun sa maraming pagpipilian mo na yun, isa lang yung pipiliin mo. So kailan daw siya useful? It is useful when the selection is based on the value kapag yung, alam niyo dun sa conditional statement. Dito, it will be useful kung switch ang gagamitin mo kung yung pipiliin mo lang dun sa condition mo, pagpipiliin mo lang ay a single variable, a simple expression. So yung values dun sa conditional, ang tawag dito, dun sa condition mo is maybe type int or char. Integer lang or character, not tuple. Okay? So, ano bang ibig sabihin natin dyan? So, ganito yung structure ng switch. So, you have the word switch and then you have your controlling expression here. So, right now, gusto kong tandaan ninyo that controlling expression should be either an integer or a character. Okay? Tandaan nyo na yan. Kasi baka malito kayo. Sabi ni ma'am, sa switch, meron kang chine-check. Merong nagko-control, which is that's called your controlling expression. And yung controlling expression yun, it should just be either an integer or a character. So that means, pagpasok mo ng program mo doon, i-check niya. Tawag dito, ano yung pinasa mong controlling expression? Ganon. Okay? So, check niya doon sa baba. Meron kang tinatawag na label set 1. Ano yung label mo dito? That means, ano yung titingnan ng program? Label set. After ng label set 1, kung yun yung napili, meron siyang i-execute na statement and then break. Titigil na siya doon. Or kung hindi naman yan, punta siya sa label set 2. Kung napili yan, i-execute niya yung statement dito. Then magbe-break na siya. And so on. So para mas maintindihan nyo yan, let's have example. So dito, kunwari naka-hard code yung grade na 80. So, yung controlling, ano yung controlling expression natin? What's our variable for controlling expression? Asaan ang controlling expression natin, class? Anong pangalan ng controlling expression natin?
Grade.
Grade, tama. Okay, yung controlling expression natin ay grade, which is of type integer. So, paano yung flow ng program dyan? Okay. So, para maintindihan nyo. So, ito kasing grade na to, pwedeng naka-hard code na siya or it came from the user. Basta magkaroon ng valid yung grade dapat. So, sabi niya dito, naka-hard code na 80. So, ang mangyayari, pagpasok ng program mo dito, grade, sabi niya, i-check niya yung value ng grade, which is right now, it's at 80. 80 yung value ng grade. So, papasok siya dyan. O compare niya yung 80 dito sa case, first case. 90, hindi, di ba? So, lalagpasan niya yung under ng case 90, lalagpas siya dyan. So, pag punta niya sa pangalawang case, it's 80. So, is it the same? The same ba siya ng controlling expression natin? Ito yung kamukha niya, di ba? 80 yung value na pinasok sa grade eh. So, si grade, pagdating niya dito, magko-compare siya sa mga case, which is 80. So, dahil 80 yun, nag-match, this line here will be executed. Okay? This will be executed. Tapos, magbe-break na siya. Titigil na yung program mo dyan. Lalabas na siya dun sa switch statement mo. Yun yung ibig sabihin yan. Now, if ever, say for example, ang value ng grade ay 70. Bawa, pinalitan natin 70. Pasok siya dito sa case. Wala. Lalagpasan niya yan. Compare siya dito sa pangalawang case. 80. Wala. Eh, wala ka ng third case. Walang 70. So, saan siya pupunta yung program mo? Ang switch mo dapat it always end with a default. That means kung wala siyang napili dun sa mga case mo, wala dyan, as in hindi niya natagpuan kung ano yung case na yun. May pangsalo ka dapat, which is your default. Okay? Dyan sa default, syempre meron kang gagawin dyan. And what I want you to remember, bawat case, they would end with a break statement. Case, it would end with a break statement. Even yung default nyo, it would end with a break statement. And yung switch nyo is, ayan siya. Nakapaloob siya sa dalawang curly braces. Okay? So, halimbawa, dito, character yung ni-expect nyo. So, dun sa taas, character, grade. Kasi yung grade nyo, instead na numerical, character. Yeah. Character grade. Pardon the handwriting. Mouse kasi yung gamit ko. So, yun. And yung grade niyo yun, pwedeng user input. That means, di-display niyo sa screen, what is your grade? Ganyan. Tapos, syempre, kung gusto niyo mag-scan ng input, mag-scan F kayo. Okay? And then, i-save niyo kay grade. Ganon. So, saka kayo mag-switch. So, syempre dito, instead na 90, you can put there A. Yung mga grades na A, dyan, instead na 80, what can you do? You can put B. Depende kung anong grades ang sinabi niya. Cases. Okay? Clear yan, class? Naiintindihan nyo tong switch statement.
Yes po.
Good. Okay, lipat na tayo. Here you go. So this is the last part of the lecture today. So write a program that takes letter grade A, B, C, D, or E. So nakinig kayo kanina. This is almost that. So, and print the range of scores as below. Okay. So para hindi kayo malito dito, I will explain it now. So you listen carefully para magawa niyo yung program na to. Okay? Okay. Mute muna. Mute muna sino yung kanina. Si Neandro. Mag-mute muna. Okay. So how do you do this assignment? How are you going to go? So this is your second assignment. Now specify naman na sa classroom yung kailan yung deadline. So what will this program do? So dito, you need to write a program that takes letter grade A, B, C, D, or E. So that means, kanino manggagaling yung A, kanino manggagaling yung B, C, D, or E? Sa user. Tatanungin niyo si user. Or papapiliin niyo siya. Choose your grade. Ganun. A, B, C, D. Parang dun sa print nyo, dun sa print F nyo, papapiliin nyo na siya kung anong grade niya. Choose your grade, A, B, C, D, or E. So, syempre, isusulat niya yun, di ba? Pipili siya doon. Either A, B, C, D, or E. Pipili siya doon ng isa. So, kung pipili siya ng isa, anong gagawin niya? Sa scanf niyo yun. Okay. And then, store that variable na binigay ni user. And then, papasok na yun ngayon yung switch nyo. So, yung switch nyo, meron kang controlling expression, which is yung variable for your grade. And then, yung cases mo, ano yung cases mo? Yung cases mo is A, B, C, or D. Case A, case B, case C, case D, case E. Ngayon, pag napili yung isa doon, si case A yung napili. So, what will happen kung case A yung napili? So, it should display this. Sorry, hindi nakikita. So, kung case A yung napili, you should be able to So, kung case A yung napili, yung first line yung grading scale na i-output nyo sa screen, which is A colon 100 if it's A. Actually, that's A plus. A plus colon is 100 to 95 points. And A minus is 94 to 90. Ganun. Pag B naman yung in-input ni user, syempre, ikukuha ninyo yun and then pasok sa switch. So, yung switch nyo, check na yung value ng grade, which is B. So, ang mangyayari doon, pupunta siya doon sa case B. Ang i-output niya is yung B plus colon 89 to 87 points. That's B plus. And B is 86 to 84 and B minus is. So, every letter, meron siyang i-output na range, which is itong mga to. Naka-identify na. Okay? Nagets nyo, class, kung anong gagawin nyo dyan. Hindi muna to. Ito muna kayo. Sa scale na to. Nagets nyo, class. This is your second MP for today's lecture. Sige, magtanong na kayo. Or you can ask me via chat actually, in our group chat. So, i-digest nyo muna. Yun lang for today. Sakto tayo. Less than pa actually. So, we're done for our lecture. So, yun, naka-upload na yung lecture na yan sa inyong classroom plus the machine problems. Okay, class, shall we take your attendance? Open nyo na mga camera nyo. Walang questions. May questions kayo? No, Jomer. Si Jomer. Taga saan ka, Jomer?
Tangle.
Saan?
Tangle.
Angeles? Tangle?
Apo.
Tangle. Yung mga apelido niyo. Iba-iba eh. Si Chris, oh. Chris, parinig naman ang boses mong mala DJ. Kamusta ka, Chris? Hello. Siya, sige. Let's take a picture for your attendance. So, smile. Yung mga pwedeng mag-open, mag-open. Okay, sige. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, siya. Ang ganda ng smile mo, ah. Siya, sige, class. Enjoy your Friday and I'll see you next week. Okay, just check the deadlines for your machine problems. Yan lang. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you po.
Thank you
Thank you,
din.
ma'am.
Good
Thank you,
day.
ma'am.
Good day, class.